You're listening to the Marketing for Learning podcast, the only podcast in the world designed to help you increase your capabilities when it comes to marketing in the learning function. We're here to help you make your learners do things they don't want to do. You're welcome. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marketing for Learning podcast. You are joined by myself and Hannah Wadhams today, and we're here really just to do some really gratuitous bragging, I suppose. No, we thought we'd do a short little session just to talk about our recent award win. Feel free to not listen to this. It's not going to talk a huge amount about marketing for learning, apart from the fact that a marketing agency winning a learning award says a lot about where our industry is going, I think.
You couldn't agree more. And if you didn't know, if we hadn't said it enough, we won Startup Learning Provider of the Year at the Learning Awards last week.
Yeah, it was gold. We won gold.
Gold!
Yeah, and I mean, gosh, I really, I think you made a valid point earlier. We can come across a bit bullshit sometimes, but we just really didn't think... No. We didn't think we were going to win. I think the fact that we even got to be a finalist as a marketing agency amongst just tech suppliers, I think is in and of itself a really exciting thing. But then for us to win was just, I haven't fully...
I can't believe it. I'm beyond happy still. And I know you are as well, Ash.
Oh yeah, I've slept with the award under my pillow for 2 days, so...
We're doing shared ownership with that, yeah?
Yeah, you've got custody every other Saturday, and but I feel like Princess and the Pea. Like, what's this under me? Oh, it's so comfortable but uncomfortable in equal measures. But yeah, I think really we don't need to brag too much about it. Really, I just think I wanted to chat with you about the fact that we won. What does that say? Because we had judges that were L&D professionals. They weren't vendors, they weren't marketing professionals, they were in-house L&D practitioners. And I think that is testament to people are starting to understand marketing for learning. They get it a bit more, and I think we can say it's actually a thing. Yeah. I think, I don't know if you've watched any of the videos back of us going up to get the award, because I know we were just shouting, oh my God, at one another. But they were talking about us as we were walking up there. And were they?
They were. And there's a bit on it that says MAAS marketing have really found a niche in the industry. And I think that's the thing that really sets us apart. We both love learning. We both see the huge value in it. But we also love marketing, and this is where we're going to make the difference. We're not another tech provider. We don't care what tech you use as long as it's good. We don't care what content you use as long as it's good. But you can have the best of the best tech content, anything. If you're not telling people it's there, if people aren't aware that it's there, it's not going to work. And I think that's what really makes us different. But let's be honest, you're the one that sat there and started up this business, Ash. So how do you think it's changed since 2019, wasn't it? You set up MAAS? Yeah, October 2019 I started. And I mean, obviously it was just me. You hadn't joined the ranks by then. But, I think I had been working as an in-house marketer. I was CMO at a big brand, a well-known brand. And I just had started to really observe that there was a very clear need, in my opinion, for this. And it blew my mind that, two things that always really staggered me when it came to L&D. One was the fact that there was always huge budgets being spent, and there was no ask from the organization to prove value or prove ROI of any kind. So very much seen as a cost center and behave as a consequence like we're a cost center. And then the second thing was, spending, again, vast amounts of budgets procuring new technologies and new tech solutions that help cultivate and encourage really great learning experiences. But then they just fall flat because there's no effort, energy, or in many cases even thought going into how to actually get people to use the stuff that you spend money on. And so, after just sitting on that for a few years and thinking there's a business here, and there's a business here. And I set up the name MAAS back in 2017 or something like that. I thought about it for a while, but I think
I didn't have the confidence in myself to start the business, I think. And really, in hindsight, I'm not sure the market was really mature enough yet. In many cases, it still isn't. But us winning the award, for me, is a very big signal that things are changing. And so really, I don't know, when I first started, I was working with vendors a lot more than we are now. I think they got what I was offering a lot more quickly, but the end game has always been to do this for L&D. And really, would you say in the past 6 months, maybe 6 to 10 months, it's really flipped on its head, and now the majority of our clients are L&D, with the odd vendor sprinkled in for good measure. So it's definitely drastically shifted. I would say the conversations I'm having with L&D haven't changed that much. But, the attitudes towards what we're doing very clearly have.
Mm-hmm. I think from my perspective, obviously, it's a year and a half I've been here now. And I weren't in a dissimilar position from you. I was leading a marketing team for a vendor. And I was thinking that there's a gap here. And I was seeing a lot of customers come back and buy new learning content because they were disgruntled that their previous hadn't worked. So buying more of the same was going to help somehow. And okay, I'm sure the content they got was better, but you were still delivering it the same way, and there was still none of that communication space. And there was like a niggling feeling in me. Obviously, I wasn't as far along as that niggle as you were. And then you suddenly splashed up onto my LinkedIn screen saying, marketing for learning, you need to start marketing your content. I was like, yes, that is it. And I think it's phenomenal, the difference. So I joined, August 2020, wasn't it? The difference in the conversations we're having. And like you said, I don't think the conversations actually changed a lot in terms of the position people are currently in, but their acceptance of what we're doing has changed. Yeah. And I think there's still a bit of nerves. I've had a few conversations over the last few weeks that's been a bit like, well, how can we dip our toe in? What can we start with? But there's definitely a shift in mindset, and I think it's people are starting to understand we need to actually deliver. We need to communicate. We need to make people aware of what we're doing in L&D rather than just sitting on it and hoping that people will find it.
Yeah, and that shift in mindset is the biggest thing of all, because that's where it really all starts. Because if we just continue to do the same stuff, swap out this platform for this platform, swap out this type of content for this type of content, you're kind of just robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're not really sorting the problem out. You're just moving it somewhere else. And, I think many practitioners, I feel like there's very two clear camps of people in L&D. From my experience, this is what I've observed. I'm not saying it's true, but this is what I would say from my experiences. There's the people who kind of feel like, this is how we do. We need instructional design, we need content, we need a learning platform. And, it's that kind of very educationally kind of focused, compliance-oriented environment where it's very structured learning, or there's just all reams of courses and go bananas, go find what you want. And then there's the other camp who are looking to innovate, who are maybe bringing in technology that isn't even learning technology. You wouldn't see him having a stand at LearnTech, for example, using business software in a learning application. Those people are the more kind of trailblazers in our industry, the voices that I'm more eager to listen to, because I think that they're the ones that are helping us be more progressive in our approach and getting out of a mindset that did us well for a very long time. Instructional design, e-learning, learning content, learning platforms. 20 years ago, those things were cutting edge, and they were relevant, and they were brilliant. And in some cases, they still have relevancy. But what I guess I'm trying to say is the over-reliance on those things that used to be successful, when they're really not being that successful anymore in some cases. And so we need to take that step back and really, again, just clean our brains out a little bit and kind of look at things a bit more freshly and say, what is the problem? If my content's the problem, I probably shouldn't buy more content. I should maybe understand why my content's the problem. If it is the fact that my content's outdated, okay, maybe I do need new content. But just swapping like for like without truly understanding the root cause of the problem is something I see time and time again, and it makes my eye twitch.
I had a really interesting conversation this morning, actually, with a client that was saying part of their audience don't believe in e-learning, don't believe in digital learning. They're that old school, that they're just not interested in it. And I was like, well, why are we talking about the delivery method up front? We're selling solutions here. We're selling solutions to the problems that our people are facing. It should not matter whether it's an e-learning course, a face-to-face program, a blended program, whatever you want to call it, however you want to deliver it. That's not what we're selling. We're selling the solution. And I think that's the mindset that I hope to see more in L&D, because all too often it's, oh, well, we've got an e-learning course on this and we've got a face-to-face training course on that. I honestly couldn't care less about the delivery method, and other than the flexibility of digital learning, not having to be in a certain classroom at a certain time, the delivery method probably shouldn't bother your learners a hell of a lot either. It should be, what am I getting out of this? And that's where the marketing comes in. That's where the marketing for learning comes in. We're communicating and delivering a value, something that's actually going to benefit our people.
Sure.
I'm bored
yeah,
of
it's
listening.
focus on the value prop,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think until L&D takes more time to understand that about themselves, and again, like, I don't see that level of introspection. And I guess, it sounds like we're being really negative, and I don't actually want to be, because I see progression every day. And I for as much as I see plenty of people who are in that first camp who are a bit more obstinate and, less likely to embrace, I guess, fixed mindset, if you want to use that analogy. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of other people who are totally changing the way that we do things. And, I think that's what we've got to do, because we are at a point now where I think the internet is normalized. It's, everywhere, ubiquitous, whatever. And yes, it's changed our lives. Again, these are all conversations that have been around for a while now. And, this is life now. It's not the new normal. It is just life. And we need to adapt a lot more than we have. We've adapted through technology, but I don't think we've adapted in terms of understanding that the onus is not on our people to want to learn. It is on us to persuade them that learning is of merit and value. And it is. Someone I spoke to for an interview on the podcast, who I can't mention because I haven't released it yet, but they were basically saying exactly that. He'd done some training initiatives within his organization, and one of the people who were on it came and said to him, this has changed my life. And we forget that. We forget that learning can shift careers, can completely change the trajectory of someone's route and path. And, those forkings are really fundamental in our lives. Like, 1 minute you're here, the next minute you're there. And really that's, without sounding too saccharine, that's what we're trying to do, right? Is enable L&D to be able to better impact people as a result of the learning experiences that they're putting so much time into developing in the first place.
Absolutely. And I think, we can sound like we're like almost bashing L&D, but L&D are making, there is a subset of L&D that are making the right moves in the right direction. And as I said earlier on today, I think to you, Ash, we're only just getting started. This is only just the beginning. We're starting to change mindsets about how we can use marketing to really bolster learning. But I can't wait till the day that this becomes normal.
Yeah, well, I think it will take time. I've not seen adoption of anything be a particularly quick process in my nigh on 10 years here. Sometimes I still hear conversations about things needing to be responsive, and I think, pardon, like, we don't even, as marketers, that's just not even, like, that's tacit now. Like, it has to
obviously
be. Yes, exactly. So I don't know about you, but I spend a significant amount more time on my smartphone than I do on my laptop. So, I think we're doing the right things. It's just going to be a slow process. But I think, I guess the key message for the listeners and everybody who's supported us is keep fighting that good fight, and even if you can't do, there's a quote, I'm sure I've said it before on this podcast, where it's like, even if I can't do everything, I can still do something, and I can still do some of the things, which is better than nothing, right? And it's way more eloquent than how I just said it. But it's along those lines, like, just because you can't do nothing doesn't mean you can't do something. And I think that that's an important takeaway, right? Like, you don't need sophisticated marketing automation technology. You don't need amazing graphic designers and videographers. You just need to try a few things differently and see what results you're getting. I think that's the key. Like, try it and see where you get to, because we're seeing good results, and it's because it works. Like, there's a reason most good businesses have marketing functions, because if it's done well, marketing works.
Exactly.
Well,
there's our rambling.
We won. I know.
Yeah.
I can't believe we won.
No, neither can I. I'm honestly still on cloud nine. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And if anyone listening to this hasn't seen our reactions, go to LinkedIn and look at them, because we were a little bit surprised.
Just two ladies sat at home in their Oodies making the magic, But yeah, thank you to everyone who supported us. Thank you to all you listeners. Like, wow, we surpassed over 3,000 listens and downloads since early November, which is crazy. And so, thank you to people who are sharing the podcast, helping amplify the voice, and reaching out to me or Han and telling us how it's having a positive impact on what you're doing. I've genuinely had people email me or message me on LinkedIn saying, you have changed the way that I think. And yeah, that's what we're trying to do. And that just, the award win is great. That stuff means even more, really. Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough corniness. We'll get back to real marketing for learning next week.
Few more dinosaurs and pineapples, and we'll be back to normal.
That's right. Yeah, more of that, please. This is far too soppy for everybody.
Far too soppy.
But yeah, we just had to do it. We have a platform. We have a voice. Let's use it, right? So thanks for tuning in, guys, and thank you again for your continuous support. And Hannah, marketing for learning. It's a thing. It is a thing. It's a thing.